Hi, I'm Dr. Marc, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Let's talk about what makes Diana Ankudinova's performance of On the Waves of Destiny so awesome. Here we go. Okay, first of all, I was thinking if I was a person watching this, one of the thoughts that I might have is, how do you know this person's awesome if you have never watched this particular performance before? And you're right. I haven't watched this song before. This was recommended by a viewer who had watched some of my other videos of Diana and said, hey, you forgot this one. Cool. I love watching her perform. I think she's a stellar performer. But even if I had never seen her before, if someone cares about a performer enough to suggest something, that means something that performer did must have touched them. So it was awesome to somebody. And if there's someone that has a huge number of viewers and people who really follow them and love them, there's got to be something about them. And so what we try to capture in this video series is what it is about each and every performer that really touches at least some part of the world's population, and what it is about what they're doing that is so moving, that really is amazing. And so that's what's going on here, and that's what we're talking about. Even still, the reason why we mostly focus on what's just amazing and not the other things is because our role as an audience is to appreciate what this performer is doing on stage. And there's something that should be respected and honored by someone getting up and giving this gift of, especially with singing, in my opinion, because it is so vulnerable, and they really are giving of themselves to an audience and putting themselves out there. So I think that should be respected. Now, so that's my little soapbox for today of why we do what we do on this series. That said, I think Diana captures some things that are well demonstrated and excellently executed, and she does it so consistently. Number one thing that I want to point out is how engaged her eyes were from the very first moment from before. She's so good at keeping her eyes engaged in the story. You can see by looking at her that she's not looking at this audience. She's in a relatively small room with people around her. She's not staring at individual people. She's really living in the imaginary world of the song that she's created. And that is so captivating. We also see in her body this limberness, that she's letting herself just be a person in this imaginary moment. There's no tension, there's no stiffness, there's no I'm performing now. There's just her being a real person imaginary moment, and I love it. You'll notice here that we have the upper two smile, we have this jaw release, we have this forward placement, but it's still really dark and rich and warm in the back. It's kind of her signature sound, right? And to me, that highlights that what we do from here forward has one effect and function and purpose. And what we do from here back has a very different function and purpose as well. Also, what we do from here down versus what we do from here up also can be manipulated and changed to give us different sounds and different colors. Still our voice, but different qualities to the sound. Here in this moment, this place that she's using the back is super tall. We can't really tell what's going on in her tongue here. We can guess that it's probably back a little bit and helping trap this sound in the back. But by keeping this upper two smile and keeping this still kind of forwardness in the sound, it's not just staying back there. It's kind of bubbling and boiling back there and gathering this richness. And then it's still being ultimately pulled forward and transmitted through the mic and into the audience and the sound, and still has a very present, vibrant sound. So really cool. Okay. There's another thing that she's like textbook awesome. So there's some other things that I want to point out here that she does really well that are personal pet peeves of mine when they're not done well. And that is people who gesture and it holds and it just arrives suddenly and stays there. She did this nice huge gesture, but it stayed limber and flexible and out there and was gorgeous. Number 2 is what's going on with the hands. You'll notice her hands were nice and relaxed. There's no tension. Even here in this moment where she's going like this, there's not this bear claw stiffness. It's still a little bit relaxed. It's not symmetrical. There's a pinky's out a little bit, the thumb's out a little bit. That's normal. If it's too symmetrical, too perfect, or too tight or too stiff or tense, we don't believe it. A lot of performers are scared of doing these bigger gestures and don't want to go for it because it's so vulnerable. It makes it visible that if they're doing the right or wrong thing. Stop worrying about it. Play big and just stay relaxed. Video yourself so you can see if there's any moments where it gets tight, stiff, or tense, or overly locked into place, and then go back and just relax it even more. The key isn't that you're going to do something wrong. The key is to release yourself, to free yourself to do all the things that you do right and that your body already knows how to do. You do it all day, every day anyways. So you might as well do it when you're on stage too. Don't make being on stage be this formal, totally different, having to manufacture and do something that is unnatural to your body. No, it's about getting a clear picture in your mind of what you're wanting to communicate and say, who you are, who you're talking to, what that person wants, and then freeing your body to communicate that in as big and authentic a way as possible. I think she does an awesome job with that.
На волнах судьбы обо всем забыл, я расправлю свой парус, как бы шторм ни бил, знаю, хватит сил, я с любой волной справлюсь, верю я. Чаек звонкий крик и большая волна за кормой. Важен каждый миг.
Notice how the da 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 da. There's not this punch, 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 da 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 da, right? She's letting the consonants articulate the notes, keeping that airflow super consistent. It keeps it so smooth and professional sounding. She's still letting consonants swell and other less important ones decrease, and so it still has natural accents and musicality to it, but it's with that consistent airflow. So important. Love it.
Что случается в жизни со мной? Гонит ветер вдаль мой большой корабль. На волнах судьбы обо всем забыть, я расправлю свой парус, как бы шторм ни бил, знаю, хватит сил, я с любой волной справлюсь, верю я.
So really interesting. I'm sitting here just thinking about what's going on because we talk about this ass space, this upper tooth smile, and you'll notice she has from here forward, right? It's this upper tooth smile, and it's really but it's not just that alone. It's got this space, this 80% of yawning smile, but it's like got an extra addition of height to it. So it's really like keeping this 80% of a yawn while putting a toothpick up in the back of your mouth vertically, right? So it's got this height and warmth and richness to it that is really just unique and captivating, especially when we're talking about pop. This chiaroscuro, this light and dark concept that we talk about and that is so important when we're talking about opera, sometimes is not the center of attention when we're talking about pop. We hear it sometimes, for sure, but it's not as crucial. But we're really kind of hearing that here in her voice a lot, and it's really fascinating to hear it come out in this, and that's just really fun. It's just intriguing to see her execute that. And I've got to wonder how much is just her unique instrument and how much are things that she's learned and picked up technique and just instinct wise over the years. It's that nature versus nurture debate, right? And how much is which. In this case, I would just be fascinated to know, fascinated to have a voice doctor go in and scope and take measurements and whatever and figure out how much of the sound quality we're getting is because of how her vocal tract is shaped and the size of her vocal folds and all those things, and how much is just her unique way of coloring the sound. I don't know. It's fascinating to me. What an intriguing sound. Every time I listen to it, it's like, it really makes me kind of think through really what she's doing to make that sound. And it's just awesome. It's captivating. So, first thing, she's not singing. So, why is she still moving? Of course she should still be moving. The temptation for a lot of young performers is if they're not singing, then they need to not be moving and they need to just like stop doing what they're doing. That's the worst thing you can do. What she's doing here in staying consistently moving and flexible, and her eyes are staying engaged, then her face reacts, and then her body comes out along next, is perfect. So what you can do today to help yourself do that is to always be thinking, what am I looking at? How do I feel about it? What does it make me want to do? The way I teach my students at the university is see, feel, do. Doesn't mean you have to do it for every phrase all the time. And sometimes it's ideal to break it down phrase by phrase. See something for one phrase, then feel about it, and then that makes you want to do something. Even if the thing that you want to do is just look away to something new or look closer, that counts. That said, you could do it all in one phrase. You can see, feel, and then do something about it. That works too. But that's kind of the order that our body seems to work in. That makes it feel natural and lets us carry these long phrases and what would otherwise look like she's trying to kind of like hold a smile and seem fake, which it doesn't here to me. But because the eyes move and then the face follows, it just kind of keeps moving really subtly with a lot of nuance, and she does an awesome job of carrying it along here. Love it.
На волнах судьбы, обо всем забыв, я расправлю свой парус. Как бы шторм ни бил, знаю, хватит сил, я с любой волной справлюсь. На волнах судьбы, обо всем забыв.
Okay, so if you were to take that to a video editor, you would see her body start anticipating the music coming up and getting more intense already before that music happened, right? Awesome.
Я расправлю свой парус, как бы шторм ни бил, знаю, хватит сил, я с любой волной справлюсь, верю я. Верю я.
I love the contrast that she uses going from kind of the speech-like spoken elements to the singing. She does it really fluidly, really organically, which is cool. When we're talking, our speaking voice, at least when we're performing, should be as close to our singing voice as possible. So practice that. If all of a sudden you're talking or introducing yourself or talking to the audience, and then you go to sing and we hear a completely different sound, by default, on a subconscious level, the audience has to decide which voice is actually your voice, which on the flip side means that one of them is not. One of them is a lie, and that's not what you want. You want them to think that you are being genuine, authentic from when you're going from speaking to singing, and whatever you're doing, they're hearing your voice. Even if it goes through a bunch of different colors, same general pitch level should match. And that's something that takes practice. So many cool things that we could talk about Diana, and you can go to the playlist of Diana Ankudinova here on my channel and see a bunch of other videos on her. She's really a thrilling, intriguing performer to watch, both as an audience member, but also as a voice professional and as a performance coach, as someone who works with a lot of performers on their acting and stage presence and movement. Just to see what she does is just really fascinating, and how unique she is, how consistent she is, and how engaging it is to watch and hear her sing and perform. So stay tuned. Comment down below with what you liked about Diana's performance, what it is that's captivating about her performing to you, what you think is awesome. You can find me on Wizio.com if you have a short 5-minute video or audio clip or less that you want me to react to and give you suggestions on. If you want a voice lesson or performance coaching, want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier, perform at a consistent level, book a time, foundyourvoice.com. Let us help you find your genuine, authentic voice. And let us also help you get your performing to a level where you're creating an entire thrilling experience for your audience. See you next time.